Hey everyone, what we're going to do today is a 3/8 ounce Arky Jig. It is weedless. Um, the hook is a 3/0 VMC 7161 heavy wire hook, and the color is Junebug. And that's what this video is going to be. It's going to be a pattern video. It's a pattern I call Ultimate Junebug. Nothing to it, real easy to do, but I thought I'd show you because it's one of the few silicone patterns that I use flash in in the color itself. So we're going to get started here with some black 210 denier flat wax nylon and get our base started. The first color I'm going to add is this grape green scale. It's called glitter scale. If you go to Barlow's Tackle, the number of this material, and this is where I got it all, the number of this material is 635. It is grape with green glitter scale, which is a Junebug color. So we're going to take that, and that's going to be our first thing we're going to tie on. Whoop. Get that started, work it. Around, I want it around the whole jig, even though I'm going to add another tab of this material. I want it all the way around. See, I missed the bottom there. I thought I was moving it. I wasn't getting a lot going, so I'll try to distribute that as evenly as I can. Sometimes it takes a little more finagling, but if you take your time, watch what you're doing, you can get it across pretty good. So now I got that first one in. Now I'm going to take this. This is a metallic purple. It's called purple crystal, I believe. If again, at Barlow's Tackle is where I got this. It's number 723 in the solid color skirting. And I'm going to take that, and we're going to put a couple wraps there, and we're going to work this around. And it's only 10 strands of this, not a full tab. So a half a tab, we'll say. Half a tab of this, a full tab of the purple scale, the Junebug material. This is where it gets a little tricky sometimes, trying to get the material to move. You want to keep it tight enough to keep that bottom color from moving, but loose enough that you can move the rest of the top color. And it's the trade-off. It takes a little longer, but I like it that way. I like the material, different colors to be sandwiched in together. That way, when I'm fishing it, I'm getting a lot of flash with this pattern. It's dark that it shows up in dingy water really nice, and you get that flash, especially if you're fishing in sunny conditions. This is a really good deal to do. So we got that tied in. We got our purple crystal. Now we're going to take our second tab of the Junebug, or grape glitter scale, whatever you want to call it. I'm getting all tangled up here. And we're going to work that around just like we did the other tabs. That looks pretty good. So I'm going to start making it that the wrap's tight, so I get my flare, and I'm going to work it down to that ring on the collar. And this is a 50 strand skirt, so you got 22 strands, I believe, on the glitter scale, and 10 strands of that, so you're going to have 54 strands total. Now I got my collar and everything situated. The last thing we're going to do is this. This is green Flashaboo accent. I got this again at Barlow's. It's almost the same thing as Crystal Flash. There's very little difference. But I like this metallic green for this pattern. And the number is 062. So that way you can, if you go to buy that stuff, all the numbers I gave you, it's easy to replicate it. So what I'm going to do with this, I'm going to tie the flash in on this very different. I got 4 full strands, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to line them up to where I'm going to cut my skirt off on the bottom. That's where I'm going to line them 4 pieces up at, and I'm going to make just 2 light securing wraps. I'm going to work this material, did it spread out a little bit. And the way I'm tying this in, it's again, I don't use a lot of this flash material in regular silicone jigs, but this ultimate Junebug is one that I really like doing it with. And you don't have to go nuts with trying to get the material spread out, because it's gonna, when you tie it, it's gonna flare out, it's gonna go all different ways. But it really, when it's in the water, it'll waver and move around and provide a really nice flash. So now I got my flash spread out a little bit. I'm going to take the ends of these strands, once I wrangle them up, and I'm going to fold them over, but not all the way. I'm going to leave a big loop at the top, and I'm going to line this up, line these up, the bottom part of the flash material. I'm going to line it up with how I tied this in. I'm going to line it up with the bottom, and I'm going to have a big loop up here. And the reason I'm doing that is this is going to allow me to double these strands, that it stays tied in real nice, but I'm going to have the material on the top that's going to fold over in the water. So it's going to be just like the skirt material. That was easier than the first part of it. Again, I apologize for taking so much time, and I don't edit this stuff because I want everybody to see the process. That it's not always smooth, and a lot of people, like a lot of fly tying videos and stuff, get frustrated because it looks pretty easy, and you go to do it and you run into problems. I want people to see the problems that I run into when I'm doing this. So, you know, it's not just you having issues, it's me too. And we got that tied in. I don't need a whole lot on it because I'm going to whip finish it twice. 3, 4, 5. Whoop. And there's getting some of that flash material stuck to the. And people have been asking me about wire tying, like why do I use thread over wire? Like on this kind of pattern, I wouldn't wire tie it. You could, but it has flash in it, and flash material seems to, that and hair wants to pull out of wire. It's a lot easier, I think, using the thread when you're using hair or any kind of flash. Um, that's just me. But most of the jigs that you see me tie with silicone, you could probably tie with wire. I also like being able to control the flare a little bit easier with the thread, as well as layer my material. Uh, with wire, you sort of spread it all out and blend your colors together, and then you cinch your material down with the wire. With the thread, I could sort of, like I did here, put a tab all the way around and sandwich material in between different colors. Ultimately, you get the same effect. That's pretty good. You get the same effect, but with thread, I think it's more controlled and it looks nicer. Now, if I was going to do a bunch, 25 or 30 jigs of a certain type of silicone jig, I'd probably use wire because it's faster and it does hold really well. Wire is a good material to do that with. So I'm going to take now, what I'm doing is, because I have these loops in here that we created, I'm going to take that, cut the loops free, and I'm going to cut the flash material off even with my silicone. So that way they're all the strands are even, the silicone and the Flashaboo accent. Oops. Now we're pretty much done. Move over, let me hold it that you can see it. Ultimate Junebug. And it doesn't, it looks like there's a whole lot of flash in it because of the green glitter scale in the skirt and the Flashaboo. It's working off each other, so that's the kind of flash that you're going to get off of this. But yeah, it's still dark that it's going to show up in dingy water. It's a really good pattern. I like to throw this in dirty water, especially when the sun's out. Give it a shot. Let me know what you think. Thanks for watching.